Hey, my lovelies. Welcome to my channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Daily Vibration. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. My name is Kamoy, and we are doing the Daily Vibration for today, June 23rd, 2021. Now, I want you to keep in mind that energy is fluid. So, whenever you click on this message, okay, whether it's via the podcast, YouTube, Facebook, okay, if the message resonates and vibrates, you want to go ahead and take what you need. If it does not, you want to leave what you do not need. If you don't understand, you want to go ahead and you shelf that, right? Because you can always circle back to that after you gain more understanding, overstanding, understanding, like shit, after you figure it out within yourself, okay? Now, today is Wednesday. Wednesday is ruled by Mercury, so that is a day of communication energy. We have as one of the energetic archetypes in the atmosphere, right? We also have the sun now positioned in Cancer, right? So we got Cancer being highlighted in the sun as the archetypal energy that you're going to be interacting with for the next month, right? What you need to know is that's fourth house energy. So that is the house of parents. This is the house of home. This is the house of your roots, right? This is inner security. So this is what you're working on, right? So some of you may have to deal with some, parental stuff, whether it's shadow work or whether it's just dealing and working and interacting with your parents, all right? So home would be the focus. Mystical matters for some people if you're dealing with it on a spiritual end. Some people are waking up to their gifts, tapping into different aspects of themselves that they didn't even know was there, right? You also have this energy could also be vibrating as far as people are concerned emotionally, right? We have fourth house energy, which is ruled by the moon. That's energy of being able to pay attention to your instincts, right? That's also protective energy, okay? Now, the moon can also be illusion, right? Illusion based. If we're dealing with the archetype of the moon from the tarot deck, that's illusion based energy. So, I literally started telling you guys this at the end of last year, that this year, the year vibrating on 2021, is a year of change, right? 5 vibrates and change. Now, 5 also sits in the center of the birth chart. 5 is the only number which surrounds all of the other numbers, okay? So you can think of the number 5 as heart chakra energy. Now, sometimes what happens is when you don't want to deal with the heart chakra stuff, or you don't want to deal with the hard and difficult things, what you can find is your heart can become hardened, right? And the number 5 can represent also change, but not change in such a kind way. This can be very, I want to say, volatile change. It can be like a sudden upheaval, right? Violent change. So you want to be mindful of that this year. As you're working through change and you're allowing things to flow, especially if you're an empath or a light worker or energy healer, it's going to be important for you to find ways for you to ground yourself with where this energy is shifting. Everything is not so, like logical, right? You now have to mix the logical aspect with the emotional aspect and the intuitive nature of who you are. So check in with how you feel about things. Check in with how things upset you. Check in with how things make you feel good, what makes you feel safe. All right. Not just internally, but externally, the people that you surround yourself with. Check into that also. I've just, let me tell you guys something. This journey, because we are also now at day 87 on our level up journey, right? We're currently at day 87. We got 13 more days left. And within the past 87 days, well, yeah, man, listen. Not only have I discovered some stuff about myself, deeper stuff, not only have I tapped into different aspects of my gifting, but I've also been able to see some things in people. I've had to address and adjust some energetic patterns that was showing up in people in my life. really trusting how I feel around people, and really honoring the fact that not everybody that shows up and you give access to you really comes from a place of having a pure heart with pure intention. So being open to understanding that not everybody have a pure heart, and then moving accordingly, right? That's going to be important for you this month. Really paying attention not just to motives externally of how people are moving externally because of their motives, which really will be emotionally based this month, right? You're also going to have to check your motives as to why you do things this month. All right. Now, so we got the sun, like I said, position in Cancer. That's fourth house energy. All right. Be mindful to pay attention to your emotions as you're moving throughout this month, as well as today. Then we also have the moon position in Sagittarius, right? This energy in Sagittarius, guys, is ninth house energy, right? And Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So we're talking about the God force energy. This is really where you step into some higher aspects of education, learning, philosophy, right? This is where you can find some people may want to take trips and travel. You know, like you can find within the next 24 hours, you know, you may find yourself in orbits or something, planning a trip, depending on what's going on emotionally, and maybe feeling like you need to take a break. Some people may be tapping into the energy that way. Some people may be tapping in it to the energy as far as spiritually on a different philosophy. What have you learned, right? Some people may be tapping into this energy via astrology, via divination, you know, the tarot cards, you know, prayer, candles, you know, really just working the energy within the next 24 hours can be a beautiful transition over into the Capricorn's energy, right? And we got Capricorn energy coming in. And that energy coming in really in a retrograde also, right? Because I know that you know, retrograde energy is supposed to be wrapping up on the 22nd, which was yesterday, but you still got to be mindful of that shadow aspect of the energy. So I would say at least until the 1st, you know, you want to be mindful of retrograde energy still up until the 1st, especially if you you know, are in the aspect of heavy Gemini and Virgo's energy, which is ruled by Mercury. You really want to just be mindful still of that shadow energy that can run up until the 1st of July. Okay, so now with that being said, we got the arrow of passivity running through the date today. So some people can be very laid back, you know, or you can find, because the sun is position in Cancer as well, we're still in that retrograde energy. You can also find that people may be responding passive aggressively. So you really want to be mindful of how you're moving and what's going on around you and in you energetically. All right. Now, and let me just also say this, right? Try to deal with things emotionally, right? What's the word? Quickly is maybe what I would want to say here, you know? Like don't like sweep shit under the rug, like emotionally. Really get into it, right? And I'm not talking about getting into it from an aspect of other people's shit, right? But I'm talking about getting into it from an aspect of understanding your own shit. Okay, so really this is not the time for you to sweep your emotions under the rug and be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna let this get the best of me. No, really, like if you're angry, you want to ask yourself why. If you're sad, why? You know, like if you're happy, you know, tap into why you're happy too. Like really get to know yourself from an energetic level emotionally this month. Okay, So you know that I also tell you guys that you're not just responsible for mastering your sun sign, aka the month that you were born. You are also responsible for mastering all 12 aspects of the zodiac wheel. Okay, they're archetypes, right? So all 12 zodiac sign are housed by a different archetype, and each of these archetypes are archetypes within you that you need to master. And depending on your birth chart, there's some things that you may need more work in depending on what's going on. Each individual could be, different, right? So how we're going to do it is we are going to do it by the elements, guys, right? And I'm going to tell you about the 4 elements, and within each element you have 3 zodiac signs. So you don't have to be a particular zodiac sign to tap into that particular element and utilize the message if it resonates. Okay, so let's start off with the water energy because we are in water season, right? We're in Cancer season. So water energy is going to be Cancer. It's going to be Scorpio. It is also going to be the wonderful Pisces energy. If you are not a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, my love, this is going to be in representation of your emotions, your feelings, okay? This is where you're going to apply this energy, okay? Now, next we're going to go to fire energy. Fire sign energy is going to be Aries, Leo, as well as Sagittarius. If you are not an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius, my love, you can apply this energy to areas in your life where you need to take action. This is movement, okay? And not only is it action and movement, I want to say action and movement using your perception, okay? Now, we're going to hop on over to the earth energy. So when I speak of earth energy, we are speaking of Taurus, Capricorn, as well as Virgos. If you are not a Taurus, if you're not a Capricorn, and if you're not a Virgo, what you can do, my love, is you can utilize this energy to the physical realm, being practical, all right, your logical aspect of self, the physical manifestation of things, okay? Now, on to the air element. If you are not an air sign, which is going to be Gemini, it's also going to be the wonderful Libras and Aquarius, okay? You can apply the air element to your intellect, your thinking, your spiritual and your mental thinking, your intellect, okay? The mental mind loops, all right? The things that you think about over and over in your head, okay? In the head stuff, all right? Now, the message and what the elements are saying today is that there may be some oaths that you may have to put in place, internal oaths, whether there is, an oath that you need to make to yourself to accomplish something, an oath that you need to make to yourself to love you, an oath that you need to make to yourself to see people for who they really are and to accept them. Because you can see people and accept them in love. That don't mean that they have to be a part of your inner circle. And if they have to be a part of your inner circle, you can accept people genuinely for who they are by accepting you for who you are, right? And so emotionally today is telling you to pay attention to the oath. Who or what have you given oaths through in your life that no longer serves where you are energetically, emotionally, mentally, or even physically? So you can think about it this way, right? What worked for you at 18 no longer works for you at 25. What worked for you at 25 may no longer work for you at 33 or 35. What worked for you at 25, damn sure. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, do not work for you at 45. Okay? There's some things that you no longer have to deal with for years, for months, for days, for hours anymore when you gain maturity. You're able to really nip shit in the bud. Okay? So there's some things and some oaths and some promises that some of you have made that it may be time for you to reevaluate and tap in emotionally and see how you feel about those things now, okay? And you will need to pay attention when it comes over to the fire element, because within the fire element is saying once you've tackled those oaths emotionally to see what needs to be revised, the action that may need to be taken is love. Love. Y'all know that? Do you know that love is the one thing that has the highest vibrational frequency to change things? One thing. Love of you, self, Acceptance and love of self is the key that can change so much things. Forgiveness of oneself. Love on the deepest level can transform anything. And it is saying today the action that must be taken, right, is love. So whatever you're doing today that may need or require action, you have to do that in love. Not that fuck fight energy. Love. Okay? And you want to watch that because people are spinning. So you're going to find a lot of people operating within the fuck fight energy. They want to argue and then make up. Argue and then make up. Argue and make up. So pay attention to that. Move in love. Okay? Move in love. And then when you hop on over to what the earth energy is saying today about being practical in how you move, it's asking you to set a reminder. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget the oath that you may have made to yourself. Don't forget the promises that you may have made to yourself, right? Or that you may have made about, the boundaries that you've created, right? Emotionally, you've set some things in place. As far as action is concerned, you've done these things in love. On the physical area where it's saying to be practical today, it's saying, don't forget what you've been through. Don't forget what you've overcome. Don't forget how long it's taken you to get where you are. Don't forget, right? Maybe it used to take you now 5 seconds to curse a bitch out. I'm just saying. Now, instead of taking 5 seconds before you pop off with that mouth, now it take you 30. Shit. By next month, you may have worked yourself up to 5 minutes before you pop off with the mouth. In a month from that, you may have worked yourself up to where you're not even paying attention to that shit no more, because it don't even faze you no more. Right? It don't faze you no more. Remind yourself that you are worthy. Remind yourself of the oath that you've created healthy boundaries. Remind yourself to check into yourself. Remind yourself not to self-project your fears, your anxiety, your disappointments, especially to your children if you have children. Don't do that to the kids. Remind yourself. It's going to be important. We're in a month where emotions are going to be running on high. Not to mention the ruling number of the day is the number 7. I haven't even gotten into that. All right? Number 7 is all about self-mastery. The 7 temples, the 7 parlors, right? The 7 chakra systems, 7 portals, 7 energetic bodies. The 7 is important because 7 requires self-mastery. And then when you add 6 and 7 together, you get 13. That number that, is supposed to be considered bad luck, That number that is supposed to be considered bad luck that you're supposed to be fearing is really a number that you should be embracing and celebrating. Do you know the potential that 6 and 7 has together? 6, the number of creative and destructive power. That's your will. Your free will. Your free will comes from a mental and emotional capacity. Your heart is really the compass and the true brain. Judge things from your heart, especially this month. Right? So just know that 7, inner mastery. Okay, especially when it comes to dealing with your 7 chakras. Okay, pay attention to where the energy may be blocked within your body. You'll feel it. Your body tells you things. Okay, and so air energy, dealing with the air elements. Right, it's all about your intellect, your thinking, and it's saying today, be an individual. Use your uniqueness. Use your individuality. It doesn't have to look like everybody else. It doesn't have to be like everybody else. It doesn't have to feel the way everybody else says it feels. You gotta think the way everybody says you should think. Oh my gosh, you don't gotta think the way everybody says you should think. And you really should embrace that. Embrace that. Embrace that aspect of you where it doesn't have to look like everybody else. You got the energy of the planner. You got the hour of the planner going through the date today, right? In the aspect of numerology, you've got the arrow of passivity, right? And for some people, you do need to be passive and allow things to flow. For some people, because we got that energy where you have the gateway through all three planes open, energetically today, you can tap into some shit today if you really want to tap into your mystical powers, right? We got mystical energy popping on off emotionally with the moon being in Sagittarius, right? So yeah, you want to be mindful of that as you're moving throughout the day. Day 87, 13 more days on this level up journey. We've been doing this, y'all, checking in, doing this. Really need to applaud yourself, take a bow, acknowledge the consistency. And if you're just joining and you want to go ahead and circle on back to day one and start this all over again, you can, right? You can find all of the content on my podcast as well as on my YouTube channel, right? And you can find clips and segments on Instagram if you just want little snippets of it. Not to mention, I got my Trust in Your Intuition and Communicating with Your Spiritual Guides coming up. That class is going to be starting August 7th, my love. All right, so I'm super excited about that. This is a third cycle of these classes, and I'm going to be adding new material and new content so you can just tap in even at a different level, because each cycle, the energy changes. So we shift in energy, right? The heavens are saying something different. So we're going to be tapping in differently as we're moving throughout that energy. And I want to say, shout out to my team. I got an awesome team. Awesome team. So shout out to my team. Y'all rock. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to my team. Working behind the scenes, we are getting a lot of beautiful things together for you guys. So I appreciate you guys. Kalia, Kia, Angelica, Portia. I really, really appreciate you guys and everything that you do. Simone. I appreciate you guys. Now, with that being said, right, don't be afraid of the dark as you're moving throughout the day today. Out of darkness comes enlightenment. You want to embrace it all. You want to be mindful, right, of how you move today. Not just how everybody else is moving, but how you move, right? All right. We will be back here tomorrow again for the daily vibration. Now, if you're a part of the Patreon community, guess what? It's the 23rd, y'all. It's the 23rd. So you can join me today on Patreon, all right, between the hours of 2 and 4. You definitely just want to go ahead and set your notification button, check your emails around then, okay, because I am going to be on anywhere in between the hours of 2 and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. So if you're part of the Patreon community and you want to tap in and hear what the ancestors got to say and what the karma energy is saying for you, hop on over to Patreon. We will be doing that today for about an hour. Okay. All right, y'all. Y'all know the deal. Okay. Do something kind for yourself. Be kind to yourself. I want to say love yourself, baby. Honor yourself, right? Don't be afraid of the dark. Out of darkness comes enlightenment. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's daily vibration. Bye, my loves.